and salam keluarga Malaysia. This is Updates at Noon. I'm Mohana Priya. Making the headlines today. Health Ministry set to announce several SOP relaxation. France Macron wins a new term after far-right battle. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob has assured that the implementation of the new minimum wage of RM1,500 will be enforced starting 1st May. He also promised that the government will not be making any U-turn on the decision.
Walaupun terdapat pelbagai cadangan, rayuan dan sebagainya, saya ingin memberi jaminan hari ini kepada pekerja bahawa penetapan gaji minima untuk dilaksanakan pada 1 Mei akan diteruskan. Kita tidak akan menarik balik dan sebagainya, tidak akan ada U-turn dan sebagainya, akan diteruskan. Cuma detailnya akan diumumkan oleh Yang Berhormat Menteri Sumber.
He said this after a cheque presentation ceremony for the retrenched Perwaja Steel Sendirian Berhad workers at the Kemaman UMNO Division Office Hall yesterday. The Ministry of Health MOH is expected to announce the relaxation of several COVID-19 standard operating procedures or SOP this Wednesday, 27th April. Its Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said he has informed the Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, of the Ministry's plans. Previously, the media had reported the Prime Minister as saying that the government would announce soon the relaxation of 3 key measures in the SOP with regard to the wearing of face masks, the scanning of the My Sejahtera application when entering premises, and COVID-19 detection tests at airports. The Premier added that the government would also take into consideration the people's concerns if the SOP is loosened too much. Khairi said this to the media after visiting the 5 siblings who became orphans after losing their parents, Rodzi Taha and Nazita Idris, to COVID-19 in Bandar Sunggala in Negeri Sembilan. The 5 are Muhammad Haidir Rodzi, 24, Muhammad Hairi Rodzi, 21, Nur Haireka Rodzi, 19, Muhammad Haikil Rodzi, 14, and Muhammad Kirzamani Rodzi, 8. The coordination of care centre registration will be among the key issues that will be addressed by the Special Cabinet Committee for Protecting Vulnerable Groups. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Seri Rina Mohamed Harun said the committee would focus on the difficulty faced by the care centres in meeting the procedures and the different conditions set by the local authorities. Elaborating further on the matter through a statement released yesterday, Datuk Seri Rina Harun said her ministry was committed to working together with the Housing and Local Government Ministry, KPKT, and local authorities to ensure that care centre registration procedures could be improved to better protect the vulnerable groups. According to her, registration of care centres need to be balanced with the obligation to maintain the safety of its occupants, including children, the elderly, people with disabilities. She also said the implementation of a health screening test approach on caregivers and care centre staff would also be scrutinised by the special committee to ensure that they have a good level of mental health and are not prone to neglect, abuse and persecute individuals under their care. The minister added that her ministry will table a memorandum to the cabinet to proceed with the setting up of the committee immediately, and also the details on the special committee that will be announced in the near future. The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, MOSTI, plans to introduce drone industry and technology in the Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics or STEM education syllabus to produce more future industry players. Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Adham Baba said the ministry would discuss with the Ministry of Education on the matter in the government's efforts to streamline the syllabus and attract more interest in STEM subjects. Commenting further on the matter, Datuk Sri Dr. Adham said he was informed that the Ministry of Education will bring the Cabinet Memorandum on STEM and its use to the government soon. He noted that during the presentation, his ministry will suggest that drone technologies such as design, use and artificial intelligence (AI) are included in STEM as early as in the school curriculum and co-curriculum. He said this after launching the Fly with Merak Corporate Social Responsibility or CSR program at the Kota Tinggi District Council Hall, Bandar Tenggara, Johor. Datuk Sri Dr. Adham said currently the ministry was working with the Johor Education Department together with the State Education, Information and Communication Committee Chairman Nurlizah Noh to start introducing the drone technology through co-curriculum at schools, higher education institutions and skills institutes in Johor. Plantation Industry and Commodities Minister Datuk Zuraida Kamaruddin said Malaysia is confident it can meet global demand for palm oil after Indonesia's announcement that it has banned exports of the commodity.
Saya yakin, Alhamdulillah, dengan pembukaan negara 1 bulan 4 dan juga kita telah mula mengambil pekerja asing, insyaAllah produktiviti kita akan lebih meningkat dan kita mampu untuk menawarkan, menyediakan supply.
The minister said this after handing over aid to 17 suraus and 2 mosques, as well as 350 families comprising the Asnaf, single mothers and senior citizens in an event organised by the Malaysian Timber Council at the federal capital yesterday. On the performance of the domestic timber industry, the minister noted that the timber industry has also been affected by allegations against the palm oil sector. She said the ministry has taken the same approach with the timber industry by meeting the European Union, EU, on the 8th of May with regards to the forced labour and palm oil issues. The Selangor Health Department, JKNS, yesterday confirmed that another elderly man was infected with rabies in the Kuala Langat district on 22nd April, making it the second case reported in the state thus far. State Health Director Datuk Dr. Syahri Ngadiman said the latest case involved an 85-year-old patient who was admitted to Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital, HTAR Klang, on the 20th of April. Datuk Dr. Syahri said that the victim was first referred to the Teluk Panglima Health Clinic due to anemia before being admitted to HTAR. The victim's family members also noticed changes in the senior citizen's behaviour as he used to be an active person and able to manage himself. Examinations found that he had a wound on his right leg that had not healed for the past 2 months. He also complained of headaches and loss of appetite. The patient was believed to have a history of having been bitten by a wild dog in his residential area on Carey Island 2 months ago. Datuk Dr. Syahri said that a cerebrospinal fluid or CSF sample and a nuchal biopsy of the victim were done on 22nd April and confirmed positive for rabies by the Institute for Medical Research, IMR. He said the senior citizen is now in stable condition and is now being treated at the HTAR isolation ward. On 14th April, JKNS confirmed that there was a case of death involving a local man who was diagnosed with rabies on the 4th of April. Plus, Malaysia Berhad has advised motorists from the Klang Valley travelling to their hometowns on 29th April to 2nd May for the Aidilfitri festive season to enter the highway before 10 a.m. Plus, Chief Operating Officer Datuk Zakaria Ahmad Zabidi said Plus is calling on the people to comply with the Balik Kampung and Pulang ke Bandar Travel Advisory or TTA and plan their journey to avoid traffic congestion. As this is the first time after 2 years of movement control order that Malaysians are allowed to return to their home villages to celebrate Hari Raya Aidilfitri, Datuk Zakaria said Plus expects about 2 million vehicles, which is an increase of 25% compared to 1.6 million vehicles a day using its highways currently. He urged highway users heading to faraway destinations such as Perlis, Kedah, Pulau Pinang, northern part of Perak, as well as Johor to enter the highway earlier, which is before 10 a.m. While those heading to nearer locations or states are advised to enter the highway before 1 p.m. He added that apart from the TTA schedule, highway customers are also urged to use Plus application, Waze or Google Map to obtain a better travel plan. Motorists can obtain the latest traffic information via Twitter at Plus Traffic, Plus application, chatbot Putri, electronic message signs at selected locations, or follow the traffic report through leading national radio broadcast. Coming up in our foreign segment, 2 people shot dead by police in central Paris.
Why do we tell you stories?
Relevant,
New,
efficient,
accurate.
reliable. We bring you extraordinary stories from around the world, from politicians, bankers, and even your favorite celebrities. This and many more on RTM's English News.
On to the foreign front. Emmanuel Macron has won 5 more years as French president after convincing victory over rival Marine Le Pen, who nevertheless secured the far right's highest share of the vote yet. He won by 58.55% to 41.45%, a greater margin than expected. Macron is the first French president to win a second term for 2 decades, but Le Pen's result also marks the closest the far right has ever come to taking power in France and has revealed a deeply divided nation. In a victory speech on the Champ de Mars in central Paris at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, Macron vowed to respond to the anger of voters who backed his far-right rival, saying his new term would not continue unchanged from the last 5 years. In a combative speech to supporters in Paris, in which she accepted the result but showed no sign of quitting politics, Le Pen, 53, said she would never abandon the French and was already preparing for the June legislative elections. Meanwhile, several hundred demonstrators from ultra-left groups took to the streets in some French cities to protest Macron's re-election and Le Pen's score. Police used tear gas to disperse gatherings in Paris and the western city of Rennes. In a separate incident, police in central Paris opened fire on a car that was hurtling towards them, killing 2 people inside. Police source said the vehicle was driving against the flow of traffic on the Pont Neuf when it sped towards the officers who opened fire. 2 of the vehicle's occupants were killed and a 3rd was injured. According to an AFP journalist, a large police presence was at the scene in the heart of the capital. An investigation has been launched for attempted voluntary manslaughter on persons in charge of public authority. Slovenia's populist Prime Minister Janez Janša lost a national election as the environmentalist Freedom Movement Party won more votes than his SDS party. Janša, who had hoped to win a 4th term in office, conceded that he had been defeated in the vote, adding, however, that his SDS party had secured more votes than ever before. The election had been expected to be tight, but the official preliminary figures showed the Freedom Movement, a newcomer in the election, leading with 34.34% of the vote, while the SDS secured 23.83% based on 98.2% of counted ballots. That would give the Freedom Movement, which campaigned on a transition to green energy, an open society and the rule of law, 40 seats in the 90-seat parliament. The Election Commission said that the turnout in the vote, in which some 1.7 million people were eligible to cast their ballots, was 68%. Yansha, the 63-year-old populist who has clashed with Brussels over media freedoms and been accused of opponents of undermining democratic standards, said the new government will face many challenges and he hoped it will be up to the task. The death toll from an explosion at an illegal refinery in southern Nigeria rose to 110 yesterday, as more people died from their injuries. Police said the blast occurred late Friday at the illegal site between the southern oil states of Rivers and Imo. The National Emergency Management Agency said dozens of people with severe burns are still in the hospitals. The corpses of the victims, burnt-out vehicles and jerry cans used in scoop-up stolen crude and petroleum products littered the scene of the carnage. Idris Musa, head of the state-run National Oil Spills Detection and Response Agency, told AFP an investigation was underway. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday described the incident as a catastrophe and a national disaster. The Nigerian leader also ordered the security and intelligence agencies to intensify the clampdown on illegal refineries in the country. The sun came out as Ukrainians marked Orthodox Easter in the capital Kiev on Sunday with prayers for those fighting on the front lines and others trapped beyond them in places like Mariupol. St. Volodymyr's Cathedral in Kiev was ringed by hundreds of worshippers with baskets to be blessed. Outside the cathedral, a soldier who gave only his first name, Mikhailo, used his helmet as an Easter basket. He said he didn't have another.
І ми маємо змогу прийти в храм, а не вдягати шолом для того, щоб він захищав голову.
With the Orthodox Church split up by the tensions between Russia and Ukraine, some worshippers hoped the holy day could inspire gestures of peacemaking.
Мы за мир, и каким целями будем добиваться этим? Может быть, военным, может быть, церковь поможет. Хотелось бы мирным путем договориться.
He and others brought baskets to be blessed by priests for Easter, with flicks of a brush sprinkling holy water over offerings of home-dyed eggs, lighted candles, and even bottles of whiskey. Beijing residents flocked to a supermarket to stock up on groceries amid rising COVID infections. The world's second-largest economy has been struggling to stamp out its worst outbreak in 2 years with a playbook of harsh lockdowns and mass testings as it sticks to a strict zero-COVID policy, taking a heavy toll on businesses and public morale. Australians lined the streets of Sydney today to watch thousands of past and present military personnel march in the annual Anzac Day Parade after the COVID-19 pandemic curtailed commemorations in the past 2 years. The parade along Sydney's Elizabeth Street included members of Australia's Army, Navy and Air Force divisions, former and current, along with allied service personnel. The first all-private astronaut team ever to fly aboard the International Space Station, ISS, departed the orbiting outpost on Sunday to begin a descent back to Earth, capping a 2-week science mission hailed as a milestone in commercial spaceflight. The multinational team was led by Spanish-born retired NASA astronaut Michael Lopez Alegria, 63, Axiom's Vice President for Business Development Larry Connor, 72, a real estate technology entrepreneur and aerobatics aviator from Ohio, was the second in command. Coming up in sports, Kawasaki Frontale hammer JDT to top Group I.
There has been a drastic increase in suicide cases as compared with previous years. According to PDRM, as of March this year, a total of 336 suicide cases were recorded. We can manage this issue if we are able to identify the symptoms of early depression. Don't go through it alone. Go and get help.
Kawasaki Frontale lived up to their reputation as Asian club football giants when they thrashed Johor Darul Takzim JDT 5-0 in their AFC Champions League Group I match at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium, Iskandar Putri, last night. In the return leg match, coach Toru Oniki's men began in an aggressive fashion to break the deadlock as early as in the 14th minute through a free kick taken by midfielder Yasuto Wakizaka. As JDT struggled to find a way back, the J1 League champions hit the home team with a second goal through Yu Kobayashi in the 31st minute. Kobayashi then scored with a powerful drive to make it a 3-0 2 minutes before the break. Coach Benjamin Mora's men tried to stage a fight back in the second half, but to no avail. There was no stopping Kawasaki Frontale, however, as they then made it 4-0 in the 81st minute through Marcio Barbosa before Chantanip Songkrasin sealed a stylish win for Kawasaki Frontale 7 minutes later. After 4 matches, Kawasaki Frontale lead Group 1 with 8 points. Ulsan Hyundai and JDT both have 7 points each, but the South Korean club are second on goal difference. Guangzhou, who have lost all 4 matches, prop up the table. Earlier, Ulsan Hyundai of South Korea notched their second win when they downed Guangzhou FC, also 5-0, at the Tan Sri Dato' Haji Hassan Yunos Stadium in Lakin. Ulsan were in cruise control in the opening stages and were rewarded in just 4 minutes when Yoon Il-lok launched a well-placed curler into the corner of Hee Pan's goal. Ulsan snatched their second of the evening through Mark Costa low drive header in the 54th minute mark. Substitute Vako Kazaishvili made it 3 just 10 minutes later. Jun Amano then made it 4 for Ulsan in the 73rd minute, and Sol Yong-woo convert from close range for Ulsan's 5th and final goal of the evening. Amri Yahya notched a brilliant hat-trick to inspire Sabah FC to a 4-0 win over Kedah Darul Aman FC in their Super League match at the Likas Stadium in Sabah last night. The match was the first of the season to allow a full house at Likas Stadium, and Sabah dazzled the home fans with an impressive shutout in the clash of the top 4 sides. Sabah, under the guidance of coach Dato' Ong Kim Sui, scored all 4 goals in the second half, with Amri finding the net in the 51st, 61st and 72nd minutes. Park Tae-soo then chipped in with one from a free kick in the 56th minute. Sabah moved level with Kedah on 12 points, but edged into second place on a goal difference. In Negeri Sembilan FC also won their home patch when they edged Kuala Lumpur City FC 2-1 at the Tuanku Abdul Rahman Stadium in Paroi. It was a strange night indeed for Negeri Sembilan's Harold Golon, who netted all 3 goals. After opening the scoring for Negeri Sembilan in the 47th minute, he turned villain by scoring an own goal in the 74th minute. Fortunately for him, Harold managed to net the winning goal for Negeri Sembilan 2 minutes later. The win left Negeri Sembilan in 4th place on 11 points after 5 matches played, while defending Malaysia Cup winners KL City remain in 5th with 7. And on to tennis. World number 1 Novak Djokovic's barren title spell in 2022 continued as he went down 6-2, 6-7, 6-love to Russian Andrei Rublev in the Serbia Open final in Belgrade yesterday. Playing his second tournament on clay this season, Djokovic was off to a slow start as second seed Rublev broke him twice to clinch the opening set 6-2. Djokovic raised his game in the second set to take the tiebreaker, despite earlier squandering 5 set points on the Rublev serve. Rublev galloped to an early lead and barely gave his opponent a chance as he closed out the match with a powerful forehand winner for his 11th career title. Meanwhile, Carlos Alcaraz eased past 8th seed and fellow Spaniard Pablo Carreño Busta 6-3, 6-2 to win the Barcelona Open. The 18-year-old did not face a break point and converted 4 of his 10 break chances en route to victory in 1 hour, 6 minutes. Alcaraz, who has now won 3 titles this season, is set to climb up to 9th in the ATP rankings, making him the youngest player into the top 10 since Rafael Nadal, who achieved the feat exactly 17 years ago, also after lifting his first Barcelona trophy. World champion Max Verstappen took maximum points from Formula One's Imola sprint weekend, leading a dominant Red Bull 1-2 as Ferrari's homecoming turned sour for overall leader Charles Leclerc and his Italian team. Mexican Sergio Perez finished runner-up in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, 16.527 seconds behind the Dutch driver, with Lando Norris repeating last year's third place to claim McLaren's first podium of the season. Championship leader Leclerc, winner of 2 of the first 3 races, fought back to 6th place after a late spin while running in 3rd. His Spanish teammate Carlos Sainz went out in an opening lap collision. Verstappen, who took the maximum 8 points on Saturday for winning a sprint race from pole, also took a bonus point yesterday for the fastest lap and is now 27 points adrift of Leclerc. Ferrari's lead over Red Bull in the constructors' standings was slashed to 11 points. Mercedes' 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, was lapped by Verstappen after 41 of the 63 laps and finished 13, gaining a place at the finish when Alpine's Esteban Ocon had a penalty added. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen was named the 2022 Laureus Sportsman of the Year, while Olympic sprint champion Elaine Thompson-Herah bagged the top women's honour at the Digital Awards ceremony in Seville. Former England footballer David Beckham made the announcement in a video released yesterday. Verstappen became the first Dutch driver to win the World Championship after clinching his maiden crown by beating 7 times winner Lewis Hamilton at the 2021 season in Abu Dhabi in December. Jamaica's Thompson-Herah became the first woman to win back-to-back Olympic sprint doubles when she retained her 100 and 200-meter titles in Tokyo last year and capped a memorable games with gold in the 4x100-meter relay. British teenager Emma Raducanu took the Breakthrough of the Year prize after her fairy tale New York triumph in September when she claimed the US Open title as a qualifier. NFL great Tom Brady, who made a U-turn on his retirement plans this year, was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award after winning a record 7th Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Polish striker Robert Lewandowski of Bayern Munich won the Exceptional Achievement Award after scoring a German Bundesliga record of 41 goals last season to break Gerd Muller's 49-year-old mark. 7 times MotoGP world champion Valentino Rossi, who called time on a career spanning more than 2 decades last year, won the Sporting Icon Award, his 3rd Laureus honour, having scooped the Comeback of the Year in 2011 and Spirit of Sport 2006 awards. And that's it from us this afternoon. In our top story today, Health Ministry is set to announce several SOP relaxation. News at 10 comes on this evening on My Freeview's Berita RTM news channel. I'm Mohana Priya. Thank you for your company.